I'm Despina Nicola from Dare to Begin Life Coaching, and I'd like to welcome you to another exciting live where we're going to be looking at demanding, entitled children and what we are doing to encouraging this behavior, you could say. So, and how we can solve the problem, or what we can do, what things we can do, techniques we can use. Now, I've been a teacher for over 30 years, and over these 30 years, I've seen a lot of changes in the way children behave. And parents have a lot to do with it. And also, there's a lot of factors involved, like the environment, technology, as I said, parenting style, impatience. So these things have all play a part in the way children behave. And it's not actually their fault. It's the generation of entitlement because of these four factors: parenting style, environment, impatience, and technology. And so let's go a little bit into each one and see what we can do as educators, parents, adults to solve the problem. Now, after listening to Simon Sinek, he talked about children and how they think that the world revolves around them. And the first thing that he mentioned was our parenting styles. Unfortunately, many parents overindulge their children and they keep giving to them, and the child feels entitled. I mean, some parents, because I'm a teacher, they're doing their homework for their children. I mean, and if the children get bad grades, the parent comes and thinks it's the responsibility of the teacher. When they see their children playing on technology, doing other things, and not taking the responsibility to study. I even know of a parent who stays up till 2-3 in the morning and teaches, actually does assignments for their child who lives in England and is doing a degree in England. And so all of these factors, like the way the parents are bringing up their children, the children can't handle responsibility. Because the parent is there, you'll be, I'll fix everything for you. The second on the list is technology. Mobile phones, gaming, all of these have changed children's behaviors. Children have entered into this techno realm, and what it does is the child gets so engulfed in playing on technology that they're not socializing with other children and playing games and on different sites. Their language becomes quite coarse and they're showing real disrespect to other children. And technology has to do with friendships as well. I mean, even forming a friendship. If you're going on a dating app, you just swipe someone to the left if you don't like them, swipe to the right if you like them. And there's no real conversation. People cannot get into those awkward conversations where you're learning skills, you're learning how to show love to each other, you're forming a relationship where you're really getting to know the person. It's just swiping left or right and ending relationships too. And now impatience is another factor of what we're doing as this generation, how we're spoiling our children. What I mean by impatience is children, if they don't get something now, they become very angry. They want that dopamine hit. Like even going on Facebook, they want that instant gratification, those instant likes, those instant connection with people. And children are wearing fewer and fewer clothes to gain attention. And this is, and if they don't get the attention they want, if they don't get that instant gratification, they go into depression, because they're so self-absorbed. And so impatience is a big one. Children are not learning to wait for things. And so dopamine, children are learning with dopamine. It's a chemical released when you've got that instant gratification. And dopamine comes in the form of other things, like you can get dopamine from drugs, from alcohol, from smoking, from gambling, from sex. And so all of these things, children are learning from a young age to get instant gratification, and they're really high on dopamine. And so they're craving that. It gets hardwired in their brains, and they want it later on. And so, and when they get that rush of dopamine, their irritation decreases. So by not getting on technology, by not getting things instantly, by their parents not doing everything for them, they get irritated. And this comes in the form of aggression, and it's detrimental for their mental health, their spiritual health, their emotional health, their physical health. And so we need to minimize the amount of phone time, technology time. We have to get them to form relationships with people, to get out there. And it's just like my age. I come from a generation where we played with people outside, or our connections. We went into those awkward conversations. We learned bonding skills. We respected our elders. And if I didn't come home with a good grades, I was to blame, not my teacher. It's because I didn't study. And so, it was my fault. And this is important. Children have to take responsibility. So my summary from all of this is that allow your children to skateboard, as Jordan Peterson says. What I mean by that, skateboarding means allow them to try, to fail, to fall off the skateboard. Allow them to raise their mark, to learn skills. Allow them to get off technology and form relationships, get into awkwardness. Because later on in the life, when they get a job, their parents are not going to be there. Their parents are not going to be there to talk to the boss. They're just going to be fired. And that's where suicide happens. When the children do not get the attention and the craving that they want, that's why there's a lot of suicides. Because people have become overindulged. They've become entitled. They've become narcissistic. It's me, me, me. And when they don't get that, that's what we're creating in our youth. And so, get your children to be socially out there and become responsible for being a better version of themselves. We can do it. So that's it, basically. So what I want you guys to do is look at what you're doing, your parenting style, the technology, how you're influencing them with technology, or try to discourage that. Impatience, and what was the last one? Environment. Now, join us next week, where we're going to be looking at how we're bringing up our children, and how we can go from a dysfunctional upbringing and how we can change the blueprint or change the imprints of the past to a better, more functional way of doing things. Remember to subscribe to my channel. It's despinanicola.com. You can find heaps of articles and podcasts and a lot of material there. And and all I can say to you is peace, love, and rainbows. And remember to live your lives.